Hey guys, so in this video I am making a crystal arch. I showed it on my TikTok. People seem to really like it, which I appreciate. I'm really excited to sort of do the step-by-step walkthrough on this. Basically, to get started, I found a random piece of wood in my garage. It wasn't anything special, it was just literally a random piece of wood. Cut it in half. So we stapled it.
I decided to sort the crystals from largest to smallest because that's how it will be displayed on the actual piece when it's done. You're going to want to put the largest ones towards the center in the corner and then work towards the smaller ones on either side. Of course, getting lots of help from my cat. I had to choose which one I thought was the best for the center. I had a couple to pick from and I was only able to use one of the largest crystals. You would think I've never used a drill before in my life based off this footage, but I swear I have. So you're just going to drill pilot holes into the wood so that when you put the screws in, the wood doesn't split. And then drill the screw in. Can she do it? There we go. And then forget that you accidentally just drilled it straight into the box. There we go. There we go. Almost there. Nope, nope, not. A little bit more. A little bit more. There we go. Good job. Then do the other side. So when I was putting the crystals on, I left the screws in so I could see the space that I needed for it. For some reason this one would just not go in. I ended up having to get just a new screw and it worked perfectly fine. So I think that one was on it, not me. I blame the screw. Okay, so you're just going to want to paint the wood the same color of whatever your trim is. I think most trim's probably white, so I presume you would usually paint it white. I'm just using this mural paint because that's what I have. Apparently it's really hard to open. There we go. Got it. So just paint the whole thing white. I painted the underside of it too. I don't know if you need to do that, but maybe just in case it's ever seen for some reason. Okay, then here's a really important part. Make sure you wash your brushes, but only after you've left them sit for 5 months because you forgot about them in a jar. And then do all of them all at once you suddenly remember that they're there and exist.
I used E6000 glue to help set the crystals to it. Hot glue won't stick to crystals, so you have to use something much stronger than that. E6000 should last for an eternity, basically. I don't know if that's true, but it will last for a while. It won't fall, the crystals aren't going to fall on your head. I used hot glue to help hold the crystals in place while the E6000 was drying, so I didn't have to sit there for each individual crystal and hold it. And then you're able to sort of pick off the hot glue if it's visible, since it doesn't actually really stick to the crystals, just kind of sort of does. I forgot to record putting on the first 3 crystals here, but they are just stuck on with a bunch of E6000. E6000 takes a while to dry, so I'm using hot glue to sort of hold it in place while it's drying. So just keep adding crystals. It's sort of like playing Tetris, but in real life with pretty things. It took me probably 4 hours to glue all these on, though, to be totally honest. I'm kind of sad that at the end you can't tell how large some of these crystals are. I sort of wish that effect was seen in the final product. I think if you used a thinner piece of wood, it would have solved that problem maybe. It's a lot of placing crystals, sitting and waiting, making sure they're sticking up. Throughout this you can see a few of them fall off and I don't even know if I notice.
No, not in my chair. It's not really what I meant, sir. It's not really what I meant. Can you sit?
Mandatory ice cream break.
Said 11 at one point.
That's halfway, but that's
Years later.
Okay, so the next day, I let all these middle ones dry before starting on the crystals on the edge. I think that it's important to keep it flat against the table so that way you know it will be flat against the wood in the frame. You're going to want to let one side dry before you work on the other side, just so that you know it will stay flat and not have anything hanging over. So that's what it looks like when one side is finished. You can kind of see how I left space for the screw and I still have to do that side. I won't torture you with more footage of me putting crystals on, but just repeat the same process on the other side. And then you hang it. Just kidding. So I hung it here and I do think it looks great here, but I ended up moving it. I show you how to hang it in a little bit.
So I ended up putting it on one side of our dining room and posted it to TikTok. Everyone told me we're gonna burn the house down, so I got scared, as I do. So then I move it. I move it just to the other side of the room where there's no direct sunlight hitting. I would also recommend that you put it, if you make this, put it somewhere where direct sunlight isn't going to hit the crystals. There also was a lot of confusion surrounding how I hung it. I've included clips in here on how to hang it up. Yeah, it's easy. You just leave little holes for the screws to go in, drill pilot holes, screw it into the wood door frame. I wouldn't do it on a door frame that actually has a door on it. I think that will probably not work because you won't be able to close the door. Unless it opens inward and you're able to put it past where the door closes somehow.
So I just took it down on this side and moved it directly to the opposite side of the room where we get a lot less sunlight. But definitely think about where you're going to put it before you put it up so that way you don't have to fill the holes. Okay, so this is how you actually hang it. You can sort of see how I left the room for the screws to go in on the actual piece. You're going to want to put it up, mark where the holes are going to go, drill the pilot holes, and then just line it up and drill the screws into the pilot holes that you already drilled. And then you're going to want to paint the heads of the screws so that you can't really see them. We're going to cover it up with crystals anyway, but it helps. I try to skip that step and you could see the screws still. So then I used some of that heavy duty, it's like almost rubbery double-sided sticky tape to stick in some individual crystals, and ta-da, you're all good.
If I were to change anything about this crystal project, I would have made it probably a little thinner so that I wouldn't have to use so many crystals. It was never my intention to make it quite as thick as I did. And I think the light would show through them a little bit better if there weren't quite as many crystals on it. But it kind of looks bougie the way it is. Lots of people were thinking that I spent thousands of dollars on it when I actually spent 80 bucks. So I'm fine with that. People can think it's bougie. If I were to use probably a piece of wood that was about half the size of what I used, it would have ended up looking, I don't know if it would look better, but I feel like if I were to change anything, if I were to do it again, I would do it like that. I saw someone saying that I should make like stalactite hanging from the ceiling, and I think that's about the best idea I've ever heard. I might do that. I also had plans to make a bench with crystal inlays out of driftwood. Another plan I have is I'm doing like a little sign to put on our chicken coop, probably just of a little hobbit door painting on a live edge wood piece. I also am gonna have these plans to make little fairy lamps, so there's lots of good stuff coming soon.
Thank y'all so much for watching.